Hello hens, welcome to 2024, welcome to my channel. I am Plumbella, if you don't already know. If you're here, you might already know that. I'm trusting that you can read. And if you can read, you can also read this, which is the premise of today's video. Every single Sims 4 pack ranked, apart from kits. Honestly, I genuinely wanted to just save paper. There are too many kits. I don't even think that the packs will fit on the board. I think the stuff pack might have to be a two-parter of the whiteboard session, and that's what we're doing today. I have multiple videos where I rank Sims packs, but one thing about me, I change my mind as often as I change my knickers. Never. On the daily, 2024 has been more of a positive year than 2023 has been for me so far, so I'm wondering if my mind's changed. And what better way to show this than a big obnoxious whiteboard? And I say 2024 is good for me, it's only the 9th. The year is young, and I am not anymore. The next video incorporating this whiteboard will be the Sims iceberg. After that, the entire history of the Sims. After that, every single Sims spin-off. After that, the extended history of the Sims. I got a big year planned for 2024. This makes me look incredibly small. I'm in my Vic Zeller era right now. I'm not incredibly small. I am 5'6", 5'7"-ish. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to do this like Dance Moms, right? My special interest, Sims, Dance Moms, The Witcher, and Maddie Ziegler is also in The Sims, so you can imagine how happy that made me. Anyway, let's move on. This is the first part of the stuff packs. This is the worst of the bunch, if you will, and it's absolutely no surprise that for the bottom of the pyramid, we've got
no solo, no duet.
She's a disgrace, Your Honour. An absolute disgrace. She shouldn't have been allowed to exist. People have told me that before, but an absolute money grab. I feel like The Sims 4 was always leading on the money grabbing things, and then The Sims 4 My First Pet stuff absolutely just took the cake. It really cemented it to be in that. If you weren't around for this, it was like 2018, 2019, I think. The Sims 4 Cats and Dogs released. A controversial take because it's always been The Sims 1 Unleashed, The Sims 2 Pets, The Sims 3 Pets, The Sims 3 Pets for DS, The Sims 3 Pets for PSP. And then in The Sims 4, it was suddenly The Sims 4 Cats and Dogs. Where have all the animals gone, Your Honour? This is not an animal sanctuary, if you will. They didn't introduce an animal sanctuary later, so that may have been their apology. I don't accept it. And then after that, The Sims 4 My First Pet stuff released. And it had little critters. Cute concept, honestly. If it wasn't for the fact that The Sims 4 Cats and Dogs had just released, and if that wasn't a slap in the face enough, it came with objects that were literally the same style as The Sims 4 Cats and Dogs. Not just the same colorways, not stuff that would look cute with it. The same exact design. It was an outrage. It was most definitely a scandal. I also had this hair, which was very unpopular at the time, but I've always loved this type of hair. So that's one of the only things I've liked from that. Also, the clothing that came with it, I could make it in Photoshop in a couple of minutes. And I did do that. I did do a video on that. So womp womp, bottom of the pyramid, no solo today. Next up on the pyramid, Sims 4 fitness stuff pack. Now, you may be looking at me and thinking, yeah, it checks out that a fitness would rate so low on your stuff pack, babe. Alright, I've watched enough of Dance Moms that I've nearly got the splits, and that's about as far as my fitness level goes. At heart, I'm a jock. Actually, do you know what? I'm a bit of a swimmer. Well, I'm a very much swimmer as well. I'm a strong swimmer, guys. And sometimes a little run every now and again. And by every now and again, I mean like once every 6 months. If my anxiety gets too much, then suddenly I'm Forrest Gump. And I'm like, wow, this really works. I should really do this more. And then lo and behold, I don't do it. I want rock solid legs. I want you to be calling my legs Dwayne, right? For the way that they are The Rock. Anyway, Sims 4 My First Fitness stuff pack. The rock climbing wall was cool. If you're into that sort of thing. I didn't really like any of the athleisure. I'm big on comfort. My guys, right? My guys, gals, and non-binary pals. This pack did not comfort me in that way. I think when this came out in terms of the build buy category, I would have rated this quite high, but now that The Sims 4 has absolutely took the mid-century modern category to death and then resurrected it like Jesus, he was on the cross, that was My First Fitness stuff, that was the mid-century modern, and then crucified it again after that. I don't think that the mid-century modern will be like Jesus Christ and rise again. I hope that it stays dead. I will drive a stake through its heart. I like it in real life, but in The Sims, it's like, come on. Next on the pyramid, cool kitchen stuff. I love kitchens and I love them when they're cool. I love little gadgets. Ice cream maker, I want that thing. And you know what? It's higher than fitness stuff because this did come with cabinets, which is something that The Sims 4 is fucking terrified of. So props, points to it for that. Ultimately, forgettable. And we already have another kitchen stuff pack that done much better, apart from the whole not being able to put out fires thing. Is that fixed yet? I sure hope it is. Anyway, forgettable overall. Cool kitchen. I would argue the first word of the title is a lie. It's no longer cool to me. Cool is in the eye of the beholder, I guess. And this eye beholds none. Luxury party stuff. I get this one confused with another one. And honestly, even as I was placing it, I was like, am I placing the right one here? One of them, I don't mind. The other one bothers me. Actually, if this is the one that I'm thinking of, then I actually don't even have enough words to justify it. The hair is cute. I hate the male suits, actually. I'm looking at it more now. Hate that male suit. Will never wear that. I mean, not that it is for me to wear, you know what I mean? But I would never put my Sims in that. It's just one of those things where it's like you wasted resources for this. No offense to the Sims team. No offense. I mean, I guess some people are into that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? I don't judge. Apart from this video where I am stood here with a whiteboard, purposefully judging. And I do it well. I enjoy it. Next. Ball and night stuff. Same thing with fitness stuff pack as with ball and night stuff. I get the build by categories confused. And all the night stuff, the thing is, I would rate this higher, but I love activities, right? I love my Sims being able to do activities. In fact, I yearn for it. Anything that gives me activities, loves it, loves it, loves it. However, this type of stuff is the type of stuff that will come with an expansion in previous Sims games. So upon further reflection, I'm sure I would have rated this one high before, but I'm kind of lowering it now. But I do wish that they'd done more stuff like this as part of expansion packs. I wish that instead of the secret mechanic that literally had no real world implications, I wish that we would have done something like this. Like, just give my Sims a little side activity. It doesn't even have to be a skill. It can just be for fun. Let them feel the rain on their skin. Perfect patio stuff. I actually don't know why I put this one that high. I probably would have put it higher. Actually, I do still like the hot tubs that came with it. Obviously, her reputation was tarnished as soon as the hot tub fiasco of 2019. Or was it 2020? Life is a blur. Life is a roller coaster, babe, and you just gotta ride it, because then hot tubs were released for free, which does arguably render this one useless. Although, when you look at the free hot tub, that bitch kind of ugly. She's still got some use. I think I do like some of the build buy items that come with it too. Next up, vintage glamour stuff. This is the one that I confused luxury party stuff with. I think luxury party came with the chocolate fountain or something, and this one came with the butler. This is not the style that I would frequent. I actually don't even think I've ever used the butler in The Sims 4. That's not why I like this pack. I like this pack because I actually find a lot of the items usable in it. I find a lot of the decorations nice. I actually don't mind it, and I actually shockingly find myself reaching for it a lot, which I wouldn't have thought that I would have done based on the marketing of this pack. But I do actually like a lot of stuff that comes with it. Not the butler enough though. I don't like the butler enough to use him, but maybe that could be a video. Mosquito stuff, machino stuff, mosquito stuff. I was there, right? I was in the trenches when this was announced at EA Play 2019. I was in the audience, and crickets. You could have heard a pin drop when they went from mermaids to come in. Mosquito stuff. It's crickets in here. My expectations were low, which may be why she impressed me. I actually found that despite the fact that I don't think that designer brands are the collaboration that we should be looking for with The Sims, you know what I mean? I feel like maybe, just maybe, this is not the target demographic. I mean, you might be into mosquito, do you know what I mean? Mosquito, whatever it is. The reason that I rate this so high is because in my actual gameplay, even though I'm not reaching for the whole mosquito becoming a photographer side of things, I play with this stuff pack a lot more than I play with the majority of stuff pack here, because this comes with new poses. And if you're a gallery wall bitch like me, you will use this pack. It comes with a lot of poses. But also, if you're not that asked about poses, you'll probably rate this one lower. But yeah, for someone who had minus expectations, she did go in the positives for me. Maybe she gets a solo today. Maybe a little duet. You know, vintage glamour. Duet today. Movie hangout stuff. This was always rated really high previously. But also, I feel like I was rating this one really high. Boho was still very much in at the time, and I was in my boho phase when I rated this one high. I was recently vegan. I was like, yeah, this fashion is the way fucking forward. You know, this is where it's at. Literally avoid capitalism. Hang out with your friends and watch a movie.
All aboard the toxic gossip train.
And then now I'm like, I do like the settees that come with this pack. I do like some of the decorative items that come with this pack, which is why it's not lower. However, I do prefer the little campers kit. But if you don't have the little campers kit, I don't think that this movie hangout stuff, like hanging out to watch a movie thing. I don't think that works. If you're going to spend money on a stuff pack or money on a kit, I would go for the kit. It basically does what that does. Little camper stuff is cuter than the movie hangout stuff. But I do like the settees that come with that. And there's a wardrobe that I really like. Actually, no, I do kind of like this, guys. I'm back in my friggin' era. Next up, romantic garden. This is going to be a trio for today. These are what I like to call the best of a bad bunch. Some of these aren't bad.
Hey, yo, they could never make me hate you.
Some of these, don't want to name names, have committed crimes against the Sims franchise. Some of these, I don't want to name names, have forever tarnished the Sims 4's reputation. Anyway, romantic garden stuff. Again, similar to Vintage Glamour. Babe, I don't have it. Actually, I read a lot of romantic books and I read a lot of fan fiction. So if I was to say that I'm not interested in romance, that would be a big fat lie. I'm just IRL, I guess. I'm not into that kind of thing. Unless it's Mr. Darcy. Actually, I would give it a chance, you know what I mean? Like, I would give it a go, you know? I would push myself out of my comfort zone for Mr. Darcy. Unfortunately, we're no longer in the Regency era. I'm in my Agnes Crumplebottom era. But I actually use a lot of this building stuff, specifically for landscaping and gardening, because I don't have a natural talent when it comes to landscaping and gardening. I hide behind romantic garden stuff a lot of the time, and I find a lot of their stuff useful. And if you're not a confident gardener or landscaper, I think she would help you. I really like her. I think it also comes with a wishing well. Never wished in it, probably. Well, I have. The actual gameplay item of the stuff pack, I don't use it for that. I just use it for the romantic garden stuff to make me feel, romantic. Next up, for the trio. Oh my god, the magnet stayed on. Sims 4 toddler stuff. Now, the thing is, I use the slide from this a lot. And that's probably the only item that I use for it, apart from, like, the outfits. The outfits are really cute as well. I do use the outfits a lot, actually. But the rest of the stuff is just so fucking big that there's no point in using it. So that's why she's not on the good side of the stuff packs. Although, stuff packs and good ever be used in the same sentence? Yes, they can, and I will prove that later, actually. I've just offended myself. I've just actually upset myself. They can, and I will prove it. Family fun stuff. She was an angel. A god amongst men. Always an angel, never a god. Family fun stuff was the blueprint. You had to be there. I feel like the Sims team must just sit down in a meeting and go, how can we make this big? And then the rest of the team seems like, scale that bitch up. Because most of the stuff is just unusable because it's so fucking big unless you put it in a park. But toddlers don't naturally show up at parks. So there's no real point putting in a park unless you make a park specifically and take your toddler specifically with you. Toddlers don't show up at community lots, so I don't know why that stuff was so big. But the slide, I do use her a lot, and the outfits are really cute. So that's why she gets a trio today out of the rest of them. Finally, laundry day. I rate this stuff a high because I really like monotonous stuff in The Sims 4. I would rate it higher, but I preferred other packs over laundry day. I love daily activities. These are all just gonna have to fucking get down your throats and stomach it. I enjoyed the Bust the Dust kit. It was very fucking broken. Also, why doesn't it work off the grid? Why? I'll tell you why. Because we didn't get a fucking broom. Why did we get multiple versions of Hoovers with vacuum cleaners? We call them Hoovers. Henry Hoover. Hetty Hoover. I have a Hetty, actually. The whole premise of like boring, monotonous things, that gets me through the fucking day in The Sims 4. That is where my loyalty lie. I enjoyed the gameplay aspects of it. I enjoyed the build mode aspects of it. I enjoyed the creative sim aspects of it. So 3 for 3. I enjoyed it. Trio. Moving on. The second part of the stuff packs. This is the last of the stuff packs. And let's just get straight into it, shall we? Bottom. Backyard stuff pack. Not the worst. Certainly not the best. Think about me. I've said it before. I said it earlier in this video. I say it about once a month on any of my socials. I'm a swimmer. I'm a water baby, right? I'm a Cancer. I'm a water sign. Very emotional. I fuck with anything that has to do with swimming. And I also fuck with anything that has to do with activities. And this is basically the backyard activity pack. I'm sure you've heard of the backyard stuff pack. I enjoy it. I just like it, right? That's why she's there. I fucking like her. Abby Lee Miller didn't need to explain herself. And neither do I. But I will. I do like her. I like swimming. Next. Nifty knitting. Again, I like activities. This is higher than backyard stuff pack because I also like the build buy items-ish. Pretty fucked up swatches, to be honest. Not higher though, because whatever the fucking poly count was on this chair is not it. But I like representation for grandmas. But I don't like how stuff is locked away. But I also don't know work around that because I also wouldn't like it if stuff was instantly available to you. But I don't know. So that's why she's not higher. Tiny living stuff pack. Now, The thing is, this would be higher if this actually was about tiny living. Like, the thing is, I live in a small house, right? I grew up in a small house, a bungalow with a renovated loft. So I'm quite used to like small living in tiny quarters. And there's things that people implement in these types of houses where it's a toilet that's got a sink built into it. And that's the kind of thing I was expecting from the tiny living stuff pack. We didn't get that. We got a Murphy bed, which arguably takes up, well, not even arguably, it takes up just as much space as a normal bed. So there was no real point in it. Although the Murphy bed was the most tiny living item that was included in tiny living. The rest of it, I would have went without matching items. Like, I would have went without a full set of like a chair and stuff like that if it delivered on more tiny living. But I did like the style of the items. They are, again, quite mid-century modern. But this is quite high on the, as far as stuff packs go, because this did introduce the tiny living home mechanic. And if there's one thing The Sims 4 does well, it is unfortunately a menu. The gameplay often falls short, but that menu, babe, the menu's great. Because when you're in there as well, if you're in a small living space, you can build skills faster. So not only is it a good building experience, but it impacts your gameplay. But it's not higher because it doesn't impact it negatively. Next up, this is going to be a controversial one.
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that no.
That's my Roman Empire right there. Do I even think she's good? Not really. I think she could have been taken much further. Do I think she's usable? No. But that right there is the closest thing I have to The Sims making magic in The Sims 4. So I can't let her die. And you might be thinking, oh, Jessica Vampires doesn't nail it. Oh, Jessica Realm of Magic. This is the closest thing that encapsulates the spirit of The Sims making magic. It's silly. It's got silly swatches. I love her. And I will always defend her. I will always defend her. If you don't agree with me, that is completely fine, because nobody has the same type of gameplay. I'm so sorry. Grab a tissue and dry your eyes if that one did really upset you, because I know that is a lot of people's most hated pack. Anyway, Sims 4 kids room stuff. She's rated quite high. I think that some of the swatches are a little bit weird. The wood tones don't really match. I also don't play with the actual gameplay mechanic of it that much, like the void critters. But I will use this in every single build that I do. She does deliver on the kids room front. I also do use a lot of the clothing and everything like that. So just for the sheer amount that I use her, I couldn't not put her this high. She's kind of like the Kendall. Doesn't especially shine, but works really well with the overall picture, which is a skill in and of itself. Because that's not a negative point about Kendall. It takes work to fit into part of a group, right? Work I haven't mastered. Not that I've tried, you know. Home Chef Hustle. This is why the other Cool Kitchen stuff wasn't rated as high. Not only did this come with Cool Kitchen stuff, which arguably, in my opinion, is a lot cooler than the other kitchen stuff, but you can also make it from scratch, and you can also sell your ventures, and it also comes with cabinets as well. So all in all, just all round done better. I also really like the actual design of a lot of the stuff that was included. Like the food looks really delectable, and the Sims 4 food.
That's death. That's death. 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 Death.
She does not look good. But I like this one. Obviously, I had a lot of critiques about it as well, why she's not number one. And also, it did introduce a glitch where it had a never-ending fire. The top one of the stuff packs. Paranormal stuff pack. Once again, are we sensing a theme? Are we sensing a theme? This was absolutely perfect. I actually really feel like this, they nailed what to do in a stuff pack. It was the right amount of build and buy items. It was the right amount of create some items. It was the right amount of gameplay, the right amount of lore, and the right amount of impact on your game that a stuff pack should have. They really nailed it. Because a lot of stuff packs feel very limiting. This one felt very fleshed out. They nailed it. There was a small glitch. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is I had ghosts apparate or appear even. I mean, maybe they do apparate. I don't fucking know. In the roof. And that was the only glitch that I had, which honestly is still not good. Like... The only glitch that I had with this, as if that's supposed to be a good thing. Nope, that should have been vetted, but still. That is the wind beneath my wings, guys. I live and breathe for this pack. When I wake up on a morning, my first thought is you. And then what did the Sims team do after the finally mastered stuff packs? Paranormal was pretty well regarded by everybody. And what did they do in response to that? They said, fuck it. No more. For years. And then we got Home Chef Hustle. And thankfully, she made a good impact. Why did they do that? Literally, Paranormal had that success, and they said, what about kits? What about if we just fucked off the gameplay because we can't introduce gameplay without glitches and just sold objects instead? Oh, I think it's because, genuinely, this is my theory on it. I think it's because The Sims 4 was released in 2014, and instead of using games thingy like Unity They created their own system. And that system, by the base of it, is inherently broke. Anyway, that's it for stuff packs. Game packs. Straight away, straight off the bat. Journey to Batu. Like, honestly, my body just had a visceral reaction to that. I genuinely was upset by this pack because I have never watched Star Wars in my life, right? I'm not into Star Wars. I know that if I got into Star Wars, it would be all I could think about, all I could talk about. It would take over my life, and I already have things that do that. Thank you. I, from the trailer of this, thought this looks really good, and I was actually upset that it looked really good. Why is this the pack that they decide to step their game up? Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not too sure which side of the coin I land on. It actually was a bit of a disaster. So it wasn't actually themed around Star Wars at all. I mean, it was, but it was themed around Star Wars in the sense of it's themed around Disney. It was given, our contract's running out, we need to get something out. Lucasfilms, sell this pack. But honestly, I just don't even think this pack would be good for you, even if you're a massive Star Wars fan. Maybe if you were a Disney adult, maybe this is where the Venn diagram of Disney adult and Star Wars fans meets in the middle, and this pack will be perfect for you. Unfortunately, I'm a bit of a Disney adult, but not at all a Star Wars fan. I just didn't enjoy it. I thought the gameplay felt shallow. It's also like a secret third gameplay thing. It's not classed as a holiday. It's like a secret third world. And I'm upset that if they're going to go for that secret third world thing, it would be Star Wars and not some historical place. That it's not The Sims 4 Medieval. And also, it was full of rabbit holes and the gameplay was just shit overall. And this mask, oh honey, honey, honey. I would have been able to find this on the Sims resource for free. It's got an alpha texture. Do the Sims team know their own texture style? Like, this is the worst textured mask that I have seen by the Sims game. Worse than stuff that got released in base game, and base game was not it. I do like some of the build by objects, but we can't all be perfect, you know. Next up, my wedding stories. Right, this was controversial from the start because at the start, you were like, yeah, right, so we're going to ban this in Russia. And then it was like, well, you know what? Gay people in Russia also deserve to be able to play a game with representation in. And then you were like, you know what? Fair dues. It's been released in Russia. It was a whole fiasco, right? And then when the pack came out, it was broke beyond belief. And during this time, I was so stressed with the entire thing that I had a migraine for like 3 days. And I just thought, it's just the stress from my wedding stories. No, it was COVID.
In the course of this campaign that you
Hello?
But because this caused me so much stress, I didn't even think about COVID. Thankfully, I didn't leave the house, so I didn't infect anybody. But honestly, I've got bad memories associated to my wedding stories. Got a couple of good few videos out of it though, but it was broke beyond belief. Also, if you're a micromanagement bitch and you love to micromanage your Sims, this will be your literal idea of Nirvana, babe. But for me, I don't like micromanagement. I like things to happen organically and randomly. This is not the pack for me. I also think that it did ace the menu system. Sims 4 is really good at menus. Failed on the delivery, and it was still broken on release. And also, it didn't really improve weddings for me. Not a good time, but I do like the wedding dress. And I did like Tartosa. I can't put it any higher than that. I was actually debating whether to put that last, but I thought I can't rate anything higher than Batu. Next up, Sims 4 Dine Out. I love giving my Sims a little treat. I think that they deserve it. You know, if a Sims just got an A in The Sims 3, I would always be like, let's go out to eat. In The Sims 2, if I was on holiday, I was like, oh, do you know what? We'll make this a lot better. A little nice place to eat. So when The Sims 4 Dine Out came out, I was like, do you know what? This may be the pack for me. I was sorely mistaken, guys. Broke beyond belief.
Bitch, 1, 2, 3.
I have a PC that is, it can play The Sims 4, no problem. Because it has to. Because that's literally my job. It can edit things, no problem. Like, do you know what I mean? My PC is the perfect PC to be able to run this pack. And even my PC still has issues with it. I know that Carl Sims 4 has mods for this, so I recommend Carl Sims 4 mods if you want Dine Out to work properly. But it's just laggy, and for the amount of effort that it takes you, half the time I'm like, I just can't be asked going out to cook anyway. I would rather go to a park and like cook something up there. I think that actually what could have benefited this is having a in-person place to dine out. And also a rabbit hole.
Oh, that's not.
In the sense that controversial opinion, I know. But in The Sims 3, they had dine out rabbit holes where you could eat inside and you wouldn't see a Sim eating. But also you could order food outside and sit outside with it, and it was a lot faster. So I think maybe a mix of rabbit hole and that. Because sometimes you might want to go through the ordeal of dining out but it's not going to be a weekly thing. It's going to be a once in a blue moon thing because of how much fucking effort it takes. One of the only things, well, actually, there's quite a couple of things in The Sims 4 I'm like, you would have benefited from a rabbit hole. And I used to be a rabbit hole hater. And to some extent, I still am, but I think Sims 4 Dine Out could have benefited from that. Like a little subway with what they call, like Wizards of Waverly Place, whatever their thing was based around. Like a diner. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think Wizards of Waverly Place's restaurant thing was based on that, but we soldier on. Theirs was based on the subway, the New York subway. Fucking loved that show. I wanted to be Alec. Next up, Sims 4 Spa Day. This recently had a refresh, and honestly, I wish I could say I played with it.
Say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
I did not. It's got nice tiles. It's just not my type of thing. But I couldn't tell you whether this pack is good or bad. I honestly haven't ever played with it. I know that it came with nails. Maybe I should play it so I can have an overall opinion on it. I just don't fuck with spas in real life. It's not something that I would ever put my Sims through. And it's not something I've ever really put my Sims through, even in The Sims 2. Because I know that came with massage thing. It's just not my thing. Not to say that it's a bad pack. I don't have an opinion on that. I don't play it enough to know. Making me realise I probably should play it. Next, Sims 4 Parenthood.
I hate you. Ow! Goodbye forever. I hope you die horribly.
If you ever want to feel disappointed, I really recommend you to play The Sims 3 Generation and watch Sims 3 Generation's Let's Plays, and then load up The Sims 4 and play The Sims 4 Parenthood. This is the exact type of thing of when I say that I'm not very good at micromanagement and I'm much better with gameplay that happens around me naturally, like organic gameplay. Because this is basically The Sims 3 Generations if half of its gameplay got scrapped and also if it was a micromanagement system. Especially with the pop-ups. If you want to be pop-upped like you've never been pop-upped before, buy this pack. However, it's not the lowest on the thing because The Sims 4 is lacking in family gameplay. If you want family gameplay, you're going to have to buy that pack at the end of the day. But this is the real evidence that The Sims 4 is a micromanagement game rather than a game about life and how life happens around you. Quite a big disappointment. Hello, jump scare. I never really explained why I think that it's more of a micromanagement system, and the reason that I think that it is like I mentioned, the pop-ups. But with the pop-ups, it pops up, right, and it's like, oh, this thing has happened. Do you want to be nice to your kid or bad to your kid? Do you want to be strict or do you want to be lenient? Rather than like the game now impacting you because your child has these specific traits or plays with these specific toys, therefore they act in this specific way naturally. It's more of a, how do you want to explicitly decide every single outcome? Like it's the helicopter parenting pack. And also the impacts aren't really on the kid. Like they've got the mannerisms and characteristics and stuff like that, whether they're good at taking care around the house and stuff. But it's really, the impact is put on the parent's role rather than how the child interacts with life. It's very much it is called Parenthood, but maybe it's easier to look at it now that other expansion packs that cater towards family gameplay, maybe it complements them nicely. But at the time that this was released and for many years afterwards, this was the only real generation style gameplay that we had. So the fact that it was so heavily focused on the parents front rather than of how you experience life as a child in The Sims 4, it was a big letdown, especially coming off Generations, which took the world by storm. Like that really catapulted The Sims YouTube into what it is today because the gameplay around it was so brilliant. It spoke for itself. On the second part of the pyramid, which is not as bad as this part, Sims 4 Strangeville. I feel like that's going to be quite controversial. Sims 4 Strangeville is a controversial pack. I like this because the Sims team tried to do something different. And I actually enjoyed that they tried to do something different. And for years, I really enjoyed this pack. Now I feel like it's lackluster. I really liked the build buy mode for this pack for years and years and years. I used to defend her. And then I kind of realized one day that like, while I like the items that it comes with, it doesn't come with enough items for me to justify loving it. So I moved it down. Also, the law that this introduced, I feel like they lied to us because they had messages like, "Mother is coming. Mother wears a red dress." And then everyone was like, "Oh my god, Bellagoth, babe, Strangerville, Stranger Town. They kind of sold us with the Bellagoth thing. Bellagoth is mother. She is servant's cunt. But who's the mother in Strangerville? Isabella? No. It's a fucking plant. Right, take a breather, guys. Take a breather. Throw infection vaccine, please. Oh my god, Mortimer. He's down. Oh, he's up. Fight possessed minion. Oh my god, we defeated her. Oh my fucking gosh, she's fucking dead.
Pull me out, pull me out, pull me out.
Make it make sense. That's one of Mother's spores. So I feel like basically they just used the nostalgia of Strange Town, lied a little bit with the marketing of it, made it sound like Belagoth was coming back. Got actual no references to Belagoth. I do like the world. I think the world's cute. I like his little hat. But apart from that, fucking rhyming. Look at me. This would have been much better if it actually had Bella, a different dimension Bella, and you had to free her or something. Because it is the type of gameplay that you play once, you know? So that would have been much better. Dream Home Decorator. I loved this mechanic in Sims 3 and I had high hopes for Sims 4. And it did deliver on a lot of those things, which is why it's quite high. But it's not high enough because glitchy, glitchy, glitchy. Tony Blair said education, education, education. Maxis said glitch, glitch, glitch. This is Vanellope von Schweetz because she's fucking glitchy, babe. It just doesn't work half the time. But it's quite high because I do like the fact that it came with a career. And I also do like a lot of the items that it came with. But it is glitchy. Glitchy, glitchy, glitchy. Honestly, I had quite a hard time justifying a lot of the game packs because up to this point, I was like, I don't think I like any of these. That's my opinion. It was quite hard to be like, I don't like you, don't like you, don't like you, don't like you, don't like you. There's things I like about them, but it was quite hard to rate them. Next up, no solo today. Outdoor Retreat. Outdoor Retreat is usually rated quite high on my lists. And she's kind of moved down lately. And I think it's because I've kind of sat back and seen how empty she is. Now, the thing is, Outdoor Retreat is always really rated high on mine because I love camping. Me and my family had a camping fixation. So it's always been really high. But I think she's shown her age, especially as more stuff's been released lately. And you can kind of see like the improvement of the graphics or the style of The Sims 4 lately. So she's went down. I also think there's not a lot to do there, which I enjoy because camping is a place where there's not a lot to do. It really works for my head when I don't have so much stuff around me and like being in the countryside where you can smell the manure that farmers are putting on. So this is kind of my gameplay, you know. But in the grand scheme of things, taken outside the context of my life, well, actually, the fact that she's so high is probably because of the context of my life, which is usually higher. Also, yes, camping is great because there's not much to do, so you can really tune off. But when you're playing a game, you don't really want to pack with nothing to do. You want stuff to actually do. And I can't think of that much stuff to do that would make it worthy. It was the first game pack that released with The Sims 4, so maybe that's why. But I still think there's a lot more to do in other game packs, and she does definitely feel very empty. I just never took that thought further when I was explaining it with the whiteboard. Don't know why, but here we are. That's my thoughts. Yes, it's great because camping's not got a lot to do, but also you kind of want stuff to do if you're buying a game pack. Next up, Jungle Adventure. I would say I enjoyed this. I played this recently in my own gameplay off camera, and I think that's why Outdoor Retreats went lower, because I played Jungle Adventure and I just felt like there was so much more to do. Although it's still not high enough because I feel like you have to actively search out all of the stuff to do. And if you don't want to go on a jungle adventure, I mean, it's in the title, but if you don't want to go on a jungle adventure, the holiday is kind of, there's nothing there, especially when compared with The Sims 3 World Adventures. Sims 4 loves to take things that were in an entire pack before and split them off bit by bit. Next up, the highest of the second row, Realm of Magic. It was difficult for me to place this high because I do feel like I was let down by it. But honestly, who is she going up against? Sims 1 making magic. I also think the world that she was included with was incredibly small. I wish that they just went for the full shebang and just included the entire realm as a world, and then made the realm feel bigger and you could live in the realm. I think that would have took it to the next level, actually. And I think that just having Glimmerbrook, a really not usable world with like 4 lots, and the houses on them are really weird. I also just don't think the lore of this one was very strong. No, definitely not. I just feel like she was let down. Style of it is really cute, I think. She is reminiscent of The Sims 1 making magic, but she's not quite there. But I did like the gameplay. I like the tier system that the occults have. Next up, second on this list, vampires. Vampires suffers from the same thing that Realm of Magic does, in that it includes a tiny world. I will die on this hill, and that hill is that these occult worlds should all be made into one, and then the worlds get bigger, similar to how The Sims 1 neighborhood worked. And it could work because The Sims 1 map was the same as The Sims 4 in that it was static and it just looked like it added on. So I feel like that's what they should do, and then that would feel like that world's a lot bigger. Last time in the past, it took me years to go on to The Sims 4. It really did. I could not go from The Sims 3 with all of its gameplay to The Sims 4 where they didn't even have toddlers or pools or ghosts. I could not do it. It took me years to get onto it. Vampires was the first pack of The Sims 4 that I played where I was like, this is an improvement. And I played it recently. I played through it and I did really enjoy myself. It's a baby girl! Finish me. Well, that's horrific. it included some of the most fuckable characters in the Sims franchise to date. So I've got to give it to them. I've got to give it to the Sims team. They know what we want. They know what we want. I'm talking about both Daddy Vladdy, and I'm talking about you, Caleb Vitor, and I'm talking about you, Lilith Vitor. All three is at once. Maybe not. Maybe not. I feel like these characters are going to live in the minds of the Sims franchise for decades to come. If the Sims last that long, Sims 4 could still be putting out content. Highest rated game pack from me in 2024. Werewolves! I've said it recently on a video, I did not want to like this fucking pack. I did not. I couldn't get behind the styling of the werewolves. I didn't understand why they looked like that. I wanted them to look more like the Sims 3 werewolves. She won me over. She won me over. I actually think that she's a well done pack. Again, I think this suffers from the same thing that vampires and Realm of Magic suffers from, which is the fact that they're introducing worlds with these packs that are just too small. But even the world of the werewolves, I did really enjoyed the lore that came with it. I loved that there was secret travel and things. I don't think they worked as well because it's not an open world. So you might as well just click M and travel through the map. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a really well done pack. It did have glitches though. It did have glitches. This was a really rough category. The only two that I was sure of was these two. The rest of these, I feel like these could be swapped out. No, these two down here definitely. But for the rest of these, no, these three down here definitely. But for the rest of these, I feel like these could be switched out and it's the same thing. But werewolves for me is without a doubt the best game pack. And I love vampires. Excuse the slight change. I'm also in pajama bottoms now. I had a cup of tea. I've been recording this for fucking hours. I thought this would be a half an hour video. I started this around 12 o'clock. It is now 20 past 3 p.m. So anyway, expansion packs. It's going to be a two-parter again because The Sims 4 just has so much fucking content.
I'm gonna get a heart attack.
That is just... Oh. Anyway, this is not the best expansion pack. So in my opinion, the worst expansion pack in The Sims 4 is Island Living. The thing is with Island Living, she's a bit of a catfish because at first glance, you think, oh my god, there is so much to do. And also mermaids. And this is the highest rated expansion pack by Metacritic, I think, which is a complete fabrication in my humble opinion. Although I did like this pack when it came out. But then with it further, mermaids are just a suggestion in this expansion pack, really, in the way that they don't really exist. See, the thing is, vampires and the werewolves, and to some extent spellcasters in The Sims 4, rank so highly for me because they turned something on its head and really improved it, which is why they're rated so high. And then Island Living just didn't do that, so mermaids feel very, very, very empty as a consequence of that. Also, it introduced conservation.
I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about cameras?
Which would be a cool concept. I don't know. I'm not really that asked about it, like, in The Sims. Do you know what I mean? It's not the type of thing I want to play with in The Sims. And I feel like they could have done without conservation and went down the mermaid route. I think they tried to do too much. And as a result of that, everything felt really lackluster and really empty and really shallow. Unlike the sea, which is not shallow because you can swim in it. I did like that. Anyway, this one greatly upsets me because the premise of this, love. She should have done so much more if she only had the time, resources and budget. Next on the pyramid, cats and dogs. I spoke about cats and dogs earlier. Why they decided to take something that worked and strip it back, I will never know. I will never know. It begins with an M and rhymes with funny. That is why that one is so low. But also, one thing about me, and this is an unpopular opinion, I am aware of the fact I don't really tend to play with animals in the Sims franchise. It's because I'm not good at multi-management. I'm really not. I struggle if a family is over 3. I always make my family over 3, but yeah, I always struggle with cats and dogs. So it had that going against it anyway. And then I just don't fuck with the vet career much either. I also don't understand why the fuck they decided to... See, the thing is, right, cats and dogs weren't controllable in The Sims 2. Cats and dogs were controllable in The Sims 3. Cats and dogs could be controllable in The Sims 4 because all it is a little piece of code that can be turned on and off. And they made the executive decision to just not make them playable. Why not make the executive decision to allow people to make that executive decision? I just don't understand why the fuck they didn't do that, because some people want to control cats and dogs. Some people don't. Some people want to be more passive. I would probably be more passive. Like, I would probably turn it off maybe. But why take that choice away from the people that want it? Sorry, it just gets me so fucking heated. I'm aware that this is a video game that doesn't actually exist in real life, but sometimes they make decisions. I'm just like, to use focus group this stuff. I also really like the world that came with this, I'm not gonna lie. End it on a good note. Horse Ranch. Not for the same reasons of cats and dogs. Although, see, the thing is, in The Sims 3, we would have had cats and dogs and Horse Ranch and also parts of cottage living and also My First Pet stuff, and that would have been an entire expansion pack, and it would have came with the world. I hate to say it, but that's the truth. I'm just talking the truth. Horse Ranch for me, I really enjoyed the pack in and of itself, but it did feel like a game pack. It did. And that's something that if you play The Sims, you will notice like stuff packs trying to be game packs trying to be stuff packs, game packs trying to be expansion packs. There's no common denominator of what a pack should entail, which leads to a lot of packs feeling lackluster because a lot of packs are trying to do too much. Or a pack is too niche. I'm not that asked about horses. As much as I look it, I'm in fact not a horse girl. I would love to be a horse girl. I have a recurring dream where I fly, and I think that maybe riding a horse would be the closest thing to that. But I never got into horse riding, and honestly, I would be scared of falling from that height, so I'm just not a horse girl. The world in this, it did feel kind of empty. I also feel like we've had this type of world a lot. I saw a post recently on Reddit that said that a lot of the world, yes, they're American, but also a lot of the world are Western American and not so much towards the East. Does that count? Anyway, I mean, I enjoyed the gameplay. I just didn't, I think there's better packs. I do. Hello, interjecting once more. I actually really regret that I put this higher than cats and dogs because I was like, why does Horse Ranch leave a bad taste in my mouth? And as I was recording this, I just couldn't quite remember. And the reason that I leave such a bad taste in my mouth, honestly, is because of the horse races. In The Sims 3, they were like this really fun thing. You could change what you were doing at each point. You could do lots of different things. Somehow, right, not only did it become more of a rabbit hole in The Sims 4, but also you couldn't race properly anymore. You couldn't try different racing techniques. You couldn't go for fucking broke. Why can't I push my horse to the limits in The Sims 4? And this is one of the times where a rabbit hole does not work because the entire fucking world is a rabbit hole. The very least that you could have done is just made some animations of a horses to run around a track and then the one who gets to the end wins. You could have had a couple of fallen animations. Also in The Sims 3, we had so many horse training things. You could literally jump over fire. Is it ethical? No. But is it real? No. And that is the hill I will die on. But you could do so much stuff. That wasn't even just a horses themed pack in The Sims 3. It had horses, it had cats, it had dogs, it had lizards. I think it had hamsters, it had parrots, it had so much stuff. So that wasn't even the focus of the expansion pack. And they still nailed horses more than they done on The Sims 4, which is based around horses. So I would like to rescind that. And I think I would put cats and dogs above horses because, you know what? I can't believe I'm saying this, but at least they gave us cats and dogs, you know? Horses gave us horses, which, yeah, they are cute, they are fun, I do like the animations. Let me put my fucking bets on, right? If I want to cosplay my dad after he's been to the pub and I want to cosplay stepping into Ladbrokes and putting an ungodly amount of money on a bet, let me. But when the fun stops, stop. I don't think I've ever put a bet on in my life. Only in The Sims. Let me live vicariously. City living. Don't throw the fucking tomatoes at me, right? Put those tomatoes down, you bastard. This is purely, a lot of things are inspired by the fact that like it's lackluster and things like that. That kind of navigate my opinion. This one is purely just a personal thing, and I actually think that this pack is a good pack. It's just so not for me that I can't put it higher, but that's not to say that it's bad. I think this will be the pack for a lot of people. I get quite overwhelmed playing in skyscrapers. I don't know why. I always have done. In The Sims 3, I was exactly the same. In The Sims 4, I was exactly the same, which leads me to not use these worlds a lot, which also then leads me to not use the gameplay. I enjoy building in them, but because this is just, I get kind of like motion sick. So that's why I can't put it higher. But I think that for people that don't mind that, this will be quite high on their list. But obviously, this is my list. This is Jesse's dream house. Your dream house.
Right, as always.
Although enjoyment. Anyway, so sorry to the people whose hearts I'll be breaking with that. So sorry to the horse girls. So sorry to the cat girls. Me. So sorry to the island girls.
Oh, we just got diagnosed.
The next tier. These ones might get a solo. These are just kind of honestly like, I'm actually just going to open them all up because level is kind of the level, with Get Famous being kind of higher, even though that's kind of a controversial one because when the world came out with this one, the world was exceptionally small. But these are just kind of like, I like some aspects of the pack, I don't like other aspects of the pack. They don't exactly call to me in my play style, but I have fun playing them. But they're not like bad enough for me where I would rate them really low, but they're not good enough for me where they would go higher. She ruined my fucking life actually trying to get smog. This is the third attempt at trying to make the world industrial. I did go through loads of the comments from the last one, and apparently wallpaper and flooring has a lot to do with it. Also, you have to join a career or something very capitalistic in nature. But I suppose capitalism does ruin the world, so you know, I don't want to have to max out a career just to destroy my world. Capitalism is expecting so much of me lately and I just can't. I'm burdened by the bourgeoisie, honestly. I don't know if you remember that phase of 2020. I ruined myself with that pack. But the pack idea as a whole, I could take it or leave it, do you know what I mean? It wouldn't impact me at all if we didn't have snowboarding in The Sims 4, or we didn't have Tina, or if my Sims... I don't really play with the famous mechanic. I get quite overwhelmed with that. So, but when I do play with it, I do enjoy them. It's top tier of my least favourite pack. For Rent, High School Years. Just because they are here... Like, I struggled to put High School Years any higher. Because as much as I play with it all of the time in everyday gameplay, that doesn't necessarily mean that I think it fulfills the role that it anticipated to fill. When I play High School Years, there's definitely a lot of times that I'm like, oh, I wish they took this further, or it doesn't really feel like a high school, you know? I play with it a lot, but there's definitely stuff missing from it. Rather than High School Years, I actually think this one should be called Sixth Form Years, because it feels more like a sixth form. Even the cheerleading and the football thing, where is that? Where is that? Because they have like chess teams and everything. Fucking bullshit, in my opinion. It doesn't feel like a High School Years. It feels small, like a sixth form. Just to clarify, they do actually have all of the things that I was talking about in this. So when I'm saying, where is it? Like, apparently they have this. What I mean by that, I just didn't make myself clear, was apparently they do have that, but it's so small that you can't even really tell that they do, because they make no real impact. You just get a notification once a week, like the football thing's happening, and then you go and it's a bunch of people like, you can pose next to this stand. And the cheerleading thing, I mean, to be fair, you can compete in the cheerleading thing, but there's a big, giant, empty place to play football, and it's not usable. You can't fucking play football. And there's basketball in high school, but there's no basketball team. Oh, there's no... It could have been amazing. It could have been. There's not enough. Not enough. And why? Why is it not enough? That's the thing, because that's something that I keep saying, just not enough. I wish they just took it further. What is it? Because I don't think it's that the Sims team is like, let's specifically shortchange this pack. I actually think the Sims team have good ideas, but they're just not being taken further. Why not? Is it because The Sims is a girly game and doesn't get the budget? Is it because they've had a monopoly on the life sim genre, so they don't need to push themselves out there? Is it time constraints working in game development? Is it pressure from higher ups? Like, there must be some reason why these things aren't being taken as far as they could be taken. For Rent, I love building apartments. I love the way that they designed it, but the gameplay is buggy. The gameplay is broken. Also, they spent so much time on the secrets mechanic. There's so much of the gameplay on the secrets mechanic, and it just means nothing. Like, she's got no real consequence. It's a shame that she's got no real consequence, because it's the exact type of gameplay that is right up my alley. And if it was done well, it would have put this one with the, like, you would have been amazing. But the secrets mechanic just means nothing. So for me, it's like, why is it there? I would have rather it went on a mechanic that could actually impact your Sims' lives. Because secrets are all random, apart from like the Grim Reaper. Yeah, that's why you're not higher. Also, you buggy. And I also see a lot of discourse that Tomarang should have been with Growing Together, and San Sequoia should have been For Rent. And I agree with that one. It's because where Tomarang's based on, it's really big on like family gameplay and everything like that, and that would have made a lot more sense. So that's just what I've read. I'm just relaying that information to you. Now on to the top parts of the expansion packs. First off, I'm just going to go Get to Work. I feel like this is going to be a controversial one, because I don't actually see that many people talk about Get to Work all of the time. And it's not even that the gameplay is necessarily the most me focused, which is interesting. But I wanted to highlight this one because I feel like this was one of the last times that the Sims team didn't have to... Well, I don't know if they had to, but this is one of the last times that we got like multiple variations all within one pack. Like we got the doctor, being a police, and also being able to run your own business. It's not necessarily done the best, but I just wanted to put it in the top bit to highlight that we can do multiple things and it all be part of the same expansion pack. I also do really enjoy the science area, and that is part and parcel to the Not So Berry challenge, but we had a lot of variation and a lot of options, and they were all active careers as well. I feel like if The Sims 4 Get to Work was be released now, I feel like we'd get a game pack where it's like, become a scientist, become a doctor, become a policeman. You know, I don't feel like we'd get it all together as one. There's also, I think it was the first expansion pack, Sims 4 Discover University. I'm coming in with another controversial one. This, I will literally, if I was on a desert island, and I've said this multiple times before, if I was on a desert island and I could only take one Sims game with me for the rest of my life, it would be The Sims 3. The Sims 3 is my baby. Even, I love The Sims 2 so much, and I think everybody should play The Sims 2, and I think that it's a game where you just can't get bored of it. But I do feel like it's also of its time, and The Sims 3 is the best. Despite all that, I prefer The Sims 4 Discover University over The Sims 3 University. I literally do not swat my house. I don't know why. I always felt overwhelmed with The Sims 3 University. I just couldn't feel like I could get into The Sims 3 University. I think part of it was because, I don't know, I've just always preferred The Sims 4 Discover University. There's a lot of aspects of The Sims 3 Discover University that I preferred. I do feel like it felt like a university more. It felt like you were on a campus more. This just kind of feels like you're playing a normal game. And I feel like a lot more could have been done with it. It's like events and stuff like that is really lacking. But I feel like a lot of Sims expansion packs are really lacking. So just because she's made it to the top bit of it doesn't mean that I think that she's really good. It still lets me down. But I do prefer her over The Sims 3 University. And I wish I didn't, because The Sims 3 University is fucking stunning. And I love what they've done with it. I just could never fully get into the gameplay. Maybe I need to try it again. Maybe in 2025, she'll be further down. I will do that, actually. Last on the bottom row. Oh, cottage living. I did want to put this higher. I really did. Originally, she was here. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, the world's really small. I do love her. Oh, wait, no, I do love you so much. Like, she really got on the cottagecore trend. She really knew that we all were yearning for cottage living during lockdown. And she delivered, like 9 months late. But like the baby that she is, she did worm away into my heart. Also, she brought Crumplebottom back. Also, Henford on Bagley. Hey, Hen. But they didn't send me a postcard. Nearly every sim were a postcard. Didn't send me one. I did take that as a bit of an attack. This was the first pack where I was like, I don't actually want to do a review of it. I actually just want to sit and play it instead. That was the first time I'd ever done that. That really made me, I loved it. I had so much fun with her. But still, there's packs that I would put higher. For example, seasons, and I don't want to put this higher. My opinions have changed recently. I always said I don't think that season should be part of the base game because The Sims 3 seasons I loved so much. I would want a dedicated pack to that. And my opinion on that has changed because I do think that season should become part of the base game because Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind might be a great film, but I don't want to play that in a game. The Witcher has weather. I also think that The Sims 4 seasons is nowhere near as good as The Sims 3 seasons, and let me just state that as a fact, Your Honour. Nothing will ever live up to the Summer Festival, Winter Festival, Fall Festival, and Spring Festival, and I really do believe that, and I've always said that, and I will continue. She even turns, you know. I'm going to call her Tina Turner. James Turner, formerly known as the Sims Supply. Anyway, and the Sims 4 seasons didn't necessarily deliver on that, but she is crucial if you actually want to feel like you're playing a well-rounded game. But I don't feel like the Sims 5 should be like that. Season should be base game, and instead of an expansion pack focusing around season, we should have an expansion pack focusing around holidays, because I do miss the festivals. The holidays are fun, and I love that you can make your own holidays. I feel like that was such a good implementation. I think it did that well, but I do miss the festivals. Second favorite expansion pack, Growing Together. Honestly, again, this was another one that was originally here, but Growing Together for me has the same problems that Seasons has. You kind of need it to feel like you got well-rounded gameplay with infants, and I don't like that. As much as I loved Growing Together, and if I lost my entire collection and I could only buy one pack, it might be you. I do love it a lot. I do think it comes with a lot of good gameplay, but it's got the seasons problem. This should have been covered in Parenthood. Parenthood, toddler stuff, kids' room stuff. We should already feel like we've got this pack, and we still felt lacking. That's why you're not number one, unfortunately. And she's just not the Sims 3 generation, unfortunately. She tried to be top rated expansion pack of 2024. Get Together. The world fucking massive. They set the bar high, and it's been dwindling ever since, my friends. It's massive. I love the vibe of the world. I love the style of the world. I love that there's like a modern section. I love that there's a classic section. I love that there's the Von Hont. Everything is photographable. The world feels quite alive, actually, which is not something that I would say for a lot of Sims 4 worlds. The majority of them, actually. I hadn't sussed my mic out yet, and this bit was really choppy, so I'm just going to do a voiceover of my explanations for it. The club system is hidden underneath the actual gameplay, so you wouldn't really know what to do with it if you hadn't sussed it out. But then once you suss clubs out, it just makes your gameplay feel so much more alive, and like each meaning or thing that you do each day can have purpose, and it's so easy to set up and organize. But also, even outside of clubs, I just felt like there's so much to do. They've got the nightclub. It actually makes me want to go out and play in the world when I play in Windenburg. The people, there are so many inhabited lots on this world. It comes with its own law, but it's mainly the club system, which I know that The Sims 2 can do menus well. I am not a big menu bitch, but I am a big menu bitch in case of the Sims 4 get together. Okay, I just feel like it would be weird to spend this much time recording my thoughts on every single pack that has ever been released for The Sims 4, getting out a whiteboard and everything, and not doing it for kits. But listen, there is not enough trees in the world to print out for this amount of kits. So I thought, you know what, I will just do a tier maker. It won't be as in-depth, but I've still put some thought into it, you know what I mean? I've even renamed the categories. The first category, this is for the best kits. Toast that has been left to go cold before you put butter on it. I know this is some people's worst nightmare. This is like what I strive to achieve. It's like, for me, this is the epitome of patience and time and care. Sometimes I even put toast in the freezer for a couple of minutes before I put butter on it, just to make sure it's got that perfect amount of coldness to it. So for me, this is a pièce de la résistance, if you will, the best of the best. Then we've got, I told my parents about us because I do see a future with us. You know what I mean? Like I could plan it. I could be with you for a long time. I'm ready to see that in my future. I'm ready to envision it. I'm ready to make it reality. Next, we've got, if you were on fire, I would maybe piss on you to put you out if I wasn't busy. I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way for it, but also I couldn't feel all right leaving you there. Like, I might lose a couple of nights sleep over it, but it certainly wouldn't overtake my entire life. Next, we've got, this is my forgettable category, so therefore it's blank. And then finally, we've got, how could you do this to me? ? Let's go. Bust the Dust kit. I have spoke about how I love Bust the Dust as a concept, and I wish that they'd done more like this. Unfortunately, where this would usually be put in this area up here, this is actually going to go, how could you do this to me ? Because I have a lot of anger over the fact that Bust the Dust is literally, it does not work off the grid, but it still happens off the grid. Just give me a fucking broom. Don't be stingy. So how can I literally cannot bust the dust in these conditions? And I've been playing off the grid in my Decades Challenge. I've been playing off camera, but this is personally a Bust the Dust. Fuck you, you fucking bitch. Couldn't read kitchen stuff. I would be lying if I said that I didn't use it a lot. Yeah, I would be lying. I would. Courtyard Oasis kit for me. It's going to have to be put in forgettable. I just don't think about it that often. I also don't use the tiles that often either. I think that there's other packs that have tiles that are much more suited to what I'm into. So I forget about you, but I'm not necessarily offended by your presence either. Do you know what I mean? Fashion Street kit, also Incheon Arrivals kit. They're both going to go in this one. I'm not big on Creator Sim kits that much. Industrial Loft kit. Stop beating this dead horse. We already have this stuff already exists in the game. Carnival Streetwear kit. I actually think that there are some things from this I do enjoy, which is saying something because I don't really focus on Creator Sim kits that often. Everyday Clutter kit. Oh, I did tell my parents about us. I did. There are a lot of items that I do use in this. Specifically, this water bottle mainly. This water bottle and me, we are very, very close. I do use her a lot, you know what I mean? I have told our parents about us. She is studying hydration. Say hydration. Hi. She's very important to me, actually. But then also, she's not in this one because of the low textures on a lot of the things as well. So I have told my parents about us, but I can't promise I'll be with you for a long time. I'm here for a good time, babe, not for a long time. Symptoms. I'm going to put you in this one. I would maybe piss on you if you're on fire. I actually like the stuff that came out with this, but because we don't have a specific underwear category for The Sims 4 and it's pajamas, I never put my Sims in symptoms. So I get like secondhand embarrassment if my Sims are walking around in the underwear outside. I'm like, literally, I turn into a mom and I'm like, I literally cover up where we are undergarment. So but I always prefer my Sims to look comfy as well, so I always pick pajamas more. But so I don't necessarily dislike it. I wouldn't go out my way to save you. Bathroom cutter kit. Call me what you want. I'm going to put you in. I told my parents that I do reach for it a lot. Greenhouse clutter kit. Or Greenhouse Haven kit. I'm going to put you in. I told my parents about us. I really do enjoy this pack. I don't know what the general sentiment around this pack is, but I know that I greatly enjoy it. I use it a lot. And also, seasons kind of rendered plants unusable for me. I do not have enough brain cells to be able to remember which plants are available in which season. Absolutely fucking not. I would rather shit in my hands and clap. So Greenhouse Haven kit is going to go in this one because she really she helps my gameplay. Basement treasures kit. You know what? I told my parents about us. I have an issue with The Sims 4 in that everything is just rich. We have some basic items, but everything is, in my opinion, from a rich standpoint. And I like to see some things that aren't 100% perfect. I'm ready for it. You, honestly, I'm not sure if I've bought you. And the fact that I can't even remember if I've bought you is enough to make you go down there. Book Nuke kit. I'm going to put you there. And this hurts me because I know that I've bought you. Have I installed you? I own this add-on. Is it installed? Yeah, right. I can't say I've seen this man, Your Honor. I can't say I've seen him in the premises. No, I can't see. He's not been around these parts. No. So do you know what? I'm actually gonna. I'm gonna put you. Oh wait, no. Because at the end of the day, like, yes, I love books. I'm a big reader, but just because I'm a big reader doesn't necessarily mean that a pack is good. Just because I like reading. But I don't want to put it in forgettable because I know that when I do remember the book nuke, I will probably use it. But this is for 2024 right now. So right now, I'm pretty much forgetting that book nuke exists. Modern Looks kit. Looks like you've wormed your way into my heart, darling. Poolside splash. I don't know what you contain, to be honest. Decor to the max kit. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to put you in How Could You Do This To Me ? Because the maximalist theme, she's in, gay is heart. That is What We Do in the Shadows quote, by the way. Yes, maximalism is in. But you've kind of got to match the maximalism, do you know? Like, yes, the room might be, it might be kitsch. It might be so much shit everywhere at once, but there's a kind of matching element to it all, and I cannot get any single thing in this kit to match with anything. And for that reason, Your Honor, how could you do this to me ? Although I might have just missed the mark, you know, maybe maximalism is all about not matching. That sounds like a nightmare waiting to happen for me. That literally sounds like I will enter a room and be overloaded sensory-wise. Modern menswear kit. How could you do this to me ? How could the Sims team hear that we wanted more clothing for masculine frames and then think, oh, wouldn't it be crazy if we took this idea and just partnered with a designer brand? Wouldn't that be wild? Yeah, it was wild. Negatively. I actually do really like some of the stuff in there. The jumpers. It's not what the community asked for, you know? Living rooms kit. I told my parents about us. One thing about me, if I'm on custom content shopping, I will be downloading plants. So to have and I really do enjoy this kit. Moonlight chic kit. Again, it takes a lot for me to enjoy a Create a Sim kit. Little campers kit, I do think about you a lot, and I've told my parents about a lot of people. One thing about me, I get around, guys. I get around. First fits kit, I put them up here. I told my parents about us. Desert Looks kit. I do actually like you. I do use a lot of the items a lot. Pastel pop kit. I'm going to put in toast that has been left to go cold before you put butter on it. I'm not going to lie. I literally designed this pack, so I feel like it would be sacrilege if I didn't put it in toast that has been left to go cold before you put butter on it. When I say that I love pastel pop, I'm never saying that to make money. If you buy this pack, what do I make out of it? A pittance, you might think. Couple of pence per purchase. I make nothing. It's literally, it makes no difference to me if you buy this pack or not. I don't get paid for it. I just love this pack because I designed it. And then finally, throwback fit kit. I couldn't tell you. You're neither use nor ornament. To me, Sunny Jim. So all in all, these are my top packs of 2024. I feel like if you look at these, you can kind of get a good summary of my personality and what I like to play. I like a little bit of activity, you know. I like a sense of dynamic family gameplay. I like to feel like my Sims' lives have a little bit of meaning. And I like a cheeky little bit of the occult. 50% of that is occult. I didn't mean for that to happen. I know that this is going to be a little bit controversial. Just remember that this is to my play style. So if you like the same things as me, if you've got a similar play style to me, you'll probably enjoy these a lot. If you aren't a fan of the occult, you know, if you aren't a fan of family gameplay and you like to just play with one sim, probably not going to be the packs for you. Probably not. But that is everything that I have for you today. Thank you all so much for watching this video. It's a little bit of a different one in the style of it, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to do more long form content in the coming year. I love you all. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, bitch.